YouTube. What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And today's live is on another mock draft. It's mock draft 17, and it's Superflex. So quarterbacks are premium today, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. Let's go. Okay, guys, let me share my screen like I always do. All right. And if anybody wants to come up, you know how we do it here. You're welcome to come up and help me rank these teams. You're welcome to come up and help me rank these teams. Or just talk about anything as we draft. Okay. So we got a new person in here today. We got Doomsday Corners, bro. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, bro. And guys, last time I did the mock, we only had 5 likes. That's not going to happen. Next time that happens, I'm just going to tune off and just finish the mock draft, and I'm going to quit speaking. I'm not going to do a mock draft for people that's in the mock draft can't even hit the like button. So we at least need 10 to 12 likes before I do the mock draft. So make sure to let me look at the likes right now and see where we at. Okay, we had 7. We need about 3 more likes before we start this mock draft. So let's get the likes up, fellas, before we start the mock draft. But yeah, Doomsday, he says, I am a first-time participant. Hi, fantasy football fans. What's going on with you, bro? Glad to see you here, man. Cutting edge content here. Harami says, damn, bro. This draft filled up faster than Tyreke. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it did. He says, I have to get on the next one. We doing these at least a few times a week, TD. I'm here for it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And guys, I got a new guest up here. First time me seeing him. My homeboy Harami. What's going on, bro?
What up, dude? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to see you, man. I'm glad I can put a face to the name, man.
Yeah, man. I was gonna draft, but I figured I'd come up and say what up and chill for a bit.
Yeah, that's I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. I think it makes for good content, man. I hate because y'all get mad at me when I be like, that's a C+. So I like to have somebody else go down with the shit with me.
Yeah, man. No worries. I'm gonna have a Coors latte, so.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. We got Roll in the house. What's up, bro? He says, damn, just missed out. Bro, they filling up quick. And I got one of my loyal female subscribers been with me about 2 years now. Appreciate that, Siobhan. She said, did I get in the draft, TD? Let me see. I don't think so. I don't see anything that says Siobhan. I don't think so. But if you need help on the next one, just let me know. Doomnex says, already a scribe. Okay, thank you, bro. Appreciate that. D-Line says, I've been playing fantasy football for 10 years now, probably an average of 6 to 7 leagues a year. I have never had the one-on-one pick, so I'm going to take this mock as my opportunity. And D-Line said, what's popping, TD? What's good, bro? And Will Hayes says, what up, TD? Let's get it. Yes, sir. And B-Ro says, I didn't get in, and I smashed the like. Appreciate it, bro. I appreciate that, the roll. Y'all go follow his channel, guys. I posted in the chat. And Ethan says, during the season, we'll be getting Pretty Richie back. I don't know. It's up to Pretty Richie if he wants to come on or not. Yep. Appreciate that, D-Lion. Okay, guys, let's start. Let's get going. So what are you picking at, Harambe?
I didn't make the draft, dude.
Oh, you didn't make the draft, man?
Nah.
Wow, this thing did fill up pretty fast. Okay.
Dude, it filled up. It filled up real quick.
Filter channels. He said you might have to filter channels. Okay, maybe let me go in my settings. I'm not gonna be able to do it right now, but I'm gonna change that. I see where people can't post links. I did that to stop the bots, but maybe I might have to change that.
Thank you, though.
All right. Let's start, guys. Let's go. On you, D Lion. So, what type of leagues are you in? Let me get ready to pick real quick because I'm on the clock. And he went with Tyreek. Duh.
You talking to me, TD?
Yes.
I'm in so I run a league I've had for about 13 years.
Okay.
It's a half point PPR. It's 2 flexes, but it's just 1 quarterback. So it's 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, a tight end, and then 2 flexes.
Okay.
And then I got a dynasty league with my buddy who's also in that league. And that's pretty much it, man. I cut back quite a bit because I was doing several leagues at a time. It was just I wasn't having fun with it, you know? So I got a
Right.
few leagues I care a lot about and try to keep it, just strictly those. I want to join one of
Okay.
yours though, man. I want to probably take over one of your
Orphans.
orphan teams if you got one.
Right. I think all the orphans are gone, but what I do got a best ball dynasty coming up. How would you like to join that?
Yeah, man, I would love to.
Yeah, and I think it's lit because I know we all got a lot of leagues. So I'm gonna start doing best ball dynasties for my members because you don't have that much maintenance. You don't have to set your lineup.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to play with UTD.
Yeah. Yes, sir, man. I'm gonna start that up soon. I'm gonna start letting y'all know when those are gonna start. So what do you think about the draft board so far?
Hang on one sec. Let's take a look. He took your boy Hill. You took Lamar in the first. Okay.
Yeah,
Spicy.
Superflex.
Okay. I got you. Um, Hurts, Jefferson, Brown, Hall. Yeah, I like it so far. If I was in this draft, I'd probably go quarterback in the first round as well.
Right.
But I mean, it looks like a good draft so far.
Right. I can wait on quarterbacks. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. But being at the second pick, I didn't want to reach for CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson or even Amara or running back. So I was like, well, let me get my number one quarterback. So I took Lamar with the second pick.
Yeah. The dynasty league I'm in is a super flex, and I think I was the 4th pick when we started up, and I took Lamar in the first round.
Right. Was this last year?
2 years ago.
Okay. So did you win a championship last year?
I did not. I made a title game, and then I got second.
Right.
My guys didn't show up. I lost by 6. I had Mahomes in the title game. He kind of fell short. Kamara
Okay.
got hurt. AJ Brown didn't do anything, so my guys kind of hung me out to dry. But I had a really good season. Nothing to be ashamed of. I'll be back next year, no problem.
Right. The reason why I asked you that because Lamar helped me win a couple of championships last year. He was hot down the stretch in the fantasy football playoffs, which was the 4th quadrant. You know, I'm really big on the 4th quadrant.
Yeah, man. He killed it in my dynasty league, and then I was starting Stafford in the Superflex, so I was doing pretty good. But
Okay.
I got plagued by injuries. I had like Ramondre Stevenson. He got hurt. Aaron Jones got hurt. My bright spots were Laporta, who I drafted, at the beginning of last year, plugged him into the starting tight end. So he carried me. Lamar carried me, and then I got CeeDee Lamb also. So if I'm not injured, I think I'm a top team. So nothing
Right,
out there.
right. Especially with CeeDee Lamb, man. I didn't draft a lot of CeeDee Lamb because I thought he would start off slow, and they did. But when he got going, man, I mean, he was the best fantasy player in fantasy.
Yeah. So the league I run, it's like half family league and like half friends, but it's all the same GMs for 10 plus years. And I tried to trick my stepbrother into taking a quarterback early because he always waits on a quarterback. And in the
Right.
first round, I took AJ Brown, and people were dogging me, and I'm like, he's good, he's good. He started slow, but then he picked it up, and then he just died out at the end. And my stepbrother took CeeDee Lamb and then Josh Allen, so he killed it. But he didn't win the league, but like it carried him, pretty far into the season.
Right. Yeah. It's not always about getting guys. Like, if guys can play good during the fantasy football playoffs and you the number 6 seed, you can win it.
Yeah. And we have an IR spot or an inactive spot. So what I did is I picked up Kyler and just set him there the whole year. And I had the option to use him in the title game, and I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't start him over Mahomes,
Right.
So got a little stubborn. And if I would have started him, I would have won my league. So it's just hindsight is 2020. You live and learn, but you can't not start Mahomes.
You got to. That's why I would say go down with the ship.
Yep. That's what I did.
Play your guy.
A funny thing too, and I'll admit it. So the waiver process is it's based off the draft order, and then say you pick up a player, you go to the bottom of the list. So after week 1 last year, Kyron Williams balled out, Puka was a thing, and then I ended up picking up Josh Kelly because Austin Eckler got hurt, and I thought he would get run because I needed a running back. And I lost to the guy in the title game who picked up Puka. So if I would have picked up one of those two guys week 1, I would have won my league. So it's crazy how fantasy is. Like, the smallest thing could like make you or break you.
Right.
It's crazy, man.
Right. It is, man. So that's why I'm not gonna say I had a bad year when I don't win a championship. To me, I just want to be able to pick good players that play elite most of the year, and that's all I can depend on. I can't depend on guys balling for me in week 16 when I need them to, right? Because you don't know, they might go out in the fourth quarter because they up. So you that's why I'm saying you got to be able to compartmentalize the strategy, because a lot of people say, man, I had a bad, my guys didn't do this. I'm like, listen, guys, if you picked up good players in the offseason and you started off good and you made the playoffs and guys played like they're supposed to, that's all you can hope for. You don't know what's going to happen week to week.
It's true. And one of the GMs dropped Rashee Rice after week 2, and I picked him up and just plugged him in and rode him all the way to the title game. And he performed in the title game. He had over 100 yards receiving and fell short of a touchdown.
Right. That's why, like, rookies in it, like later in the season, man, that's when they get hot. All the rookies get hot later in the season.
Yeah. My whole time playing in my family league, I used to be very pro running back. So I would usually take 2 bell cows in the first 2 rounds, and I scrapped that strategy and been going just like elite tight end and elite receivers, and it's the way to go. I mean, it's a passing league now, so you want the best passers, the best pass catchers, and then you plug in an elite tight end into that spot, you're getting wide receiver 1 numbers. That people don't realize how important the tight end spot is, even in a PPR, half PPR league.
I agree.
Carry you.
Right. Listen, I will go running backs in the first round. I'm not I call this, I don't want sloppy seconds. So if Tyreek, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown go with the first 4 picks, and Chase is gone, I'm not going to take AJ Brown at the 1-7. I'd rather go get Bijan Robinson or CMC at that point.
Right. And
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but if I got the first overall pick, I'm not going running back.
Right. I'm the same way, and I think this year's setting up to be a good year to take a running back, in the first or second, because you got a lot of catching running back. Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, like Breece Hall. I commented on one of your videos today. I think Breece Hall is he will exceed, and next year he's going to be a first-round pick again, as long as he stays healthy. But even last year, he put up monster numbers in a really crappy offense, you know?
Right.
So
He
imagine
did.
being healthy with Rodgers and a good
With Rodgers, right.
guys.
And Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I'm big on Brees this year. I call him Breach, but I'm
No,
big on him this year. I'm huge on him.
me too, man. CMC's he's in another level, obviously, but I think if Brees is healthy, he can get up to that high tier, and people will take notice and be like, "Whoa, this dude is ridiculous," you know?
Right.
And because in my draft in my league last year, I didn't take a running back until I want to say the 6th. Then it was James Cook.
Woo!
Yeah.
Nice. Even though he was spotty, listen, this is what a lot of people don't understand, because this guy's trying to trade me right now. I forgot what running back it is. I don't want him. I like pass catching kind of spotty guys and with heavy hitter wide receivers, because I believe later in the season those spotty guys like James Cook, Rashad White, maybe even Travis Etienne this year, if they don't use them that much early. These guys are going to be good for you late. I'm trying to draft running backs who's going to be good late. I don't want running backs who's going to be getting 25 carries week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because they wear down. So I'm okay taking James Cook, and because I think James Cook had a good fantasy football playoff run, didn't he?
He did good. He dropped a touchdown in the title game against
He did.
That would have won me my league. I also had the Bills defense. They scored a defensive touchdown. So like TD, I barely missed the title. I missed by 6.82, I want to say. So I just needed one guy to score or do something, and I would have been a champ.
Right.
But it's okay. I've won titles before. Last year was just weird because I drafted my team. I didn't like it at first, and I even said on draft day, I said this team is boring, and all my friends were dogging me for it. And then I had the highest point output in the season. I was just taking doo-doos on teams every week, man. It was money.
Right. Last year was my first championship. I had lost in the championship probably the last 3 years before then. And Mike Evans had killed me, man, like 2 years back to back in a championship game. I mean, he hadn't done that all season really, and all of a sudden he gets 55 points. Kind of like Amari Cooper did to some people last year.
Yeah. So the guy I beat to go to the title game, I advanced because Amari against the Texans. I put up huge numbers.
Yeah, 75 points. Woo!
Yeah. We got scoring bonuses in my league too. So if a receiver goes over 200, it's 5 extra points.
Right.
So he did my boy dirty, and the guy I beat would have won the title because he had a third place game, during title week, and he would have beat both of the title teams, which was funny. So needless to say, he's not an Amari Cooper fan. He hates Amari right now. It's funny.
Right.
I love Amari though. I'm on the same page with you. That guy every year is a steal, and this year's
every year
different.
Every single year, and guess what? He's a sleeper to be a Hall of Famer. He's a sleeper. He might not be first ballot, but if he have another 1,000-yard season, you got to look out. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of wide receivers that's gonna make the Hall of Fame now. I mean, because a lot of wide receivers are putting up big numbers.
I've always liked him. I live in San Diego, so we had the Chargers here, and when he was on the Raiders, he would do bad things to the Chargers. So I always knew that guy was the truth, even with the crap quarterback. And I agree. I think he should be a Hall of Famer. He's flown under the radar pretty much his whole career.
Right.
I'm a big Cooper fan. To me, he's like a poor man's AJ Brown kind of.
Who?
He's like a poor man's AJ Brown.
Who? Amari Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Because, like, to me, it's like the same guy. It's like a downfield threat.
Right.
I think AJ Brown will morph into more of a possession receiver this year, like kind of
Okay.
how Amari is. And I think Smith will be the downfield guy in that offense. Devonta.
Right. Yeah, he's younger. I'm kind of fading AJ Brown. I just think there's a lot of pressure on him, especially for fantasy, to be a top wide receiver every week with all that talent. So I'm kind of fading him a little bit this year.
I think AJ is a good like mid-round second round middle pick. So like if you're in the middle in the second round or late second round, I think AJ Brown's a good pick.
Right.
But he's not a first rounder to me this year.
No, I wouldn't take the risk. He might finish as a top 3 wide receiver, but I'm just not taking him there.
Yeah. Draft's going pretty good so far.
Yeah, it's tough out here. I mean, these guys, man, are very, very savage. But I guess I can switch it up a little bit.
Yeah. Nasty. So you took James Cook this year. If the price is right, I'm going to take him this year as well. I think obviously he's not a 6th round guy this year based on what he did last year and with Diggs leaving.
Right.
I think he gets probably more PPR action this year, I would think.
Right. I also think the offense is kind of built around him this year. I think that's why they felt comfortable letting Stephon Diggs go.
Yeah. He's explosive, and
right.
Being a James Cook owner last year, it was infuriating and frustrating because Josh Allen is greedy, at the goal line.
Right. He is, man. He is. But he ain't scared to put the game on his back, and I respect that,
That guy's a fantasy goldmine. My stepmom is from Buffalo, so she's a huge Bills fan. She has like a Bills shrine in her house and everything.
Right. Yeah, Buffalo fans are probably would you say top 5 craziest fans?
For sports or for the NFL?
All sports. I would say all sports. I think because they in that cold weather, they have to be tough because of the snow and stuff like that. So I think they kind of like psycho fans.
Yeah.
I mean, Cowboy fans are crazy, but we're not crazy the way Buffalo fans are crazy. Like they crazy, like you don't just on a different level.
Well, I asked my stepmom about this, and they do crazy stuff in the parking lot. They like jump through tables, which all
right.
That stuff. She said they're like that because there's nothing to do there. So when it's cold, they have some beers or whatever, and then they jump through tables. It's
right.
It's where Rick James is from. It's crazy up there.
I didn't know Rick James was from Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a huge Rick James fan too. She has like Rick James vinyls and stuff. It's funny.
Right.
You're a Cowboys fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. Yep. The Rose says you might have to filter the channels. Okay. And okay, guys, that's his YouTube handle. Siobhan says, I missed it. Next time I am learning a lot. Thank you for your cutting edge content. Hit the like button, peeps. Just get the likes up, guys. The Rose says, I'll be down as well. So yeah, man, I'm gonna hit you up when I do the best ball dynasty startup. First dibs is for members, but a few of you that already talked to me about it, I will be hitting you up. I'll give you the link first, but it's basically gonna be for the members, and then I'll work my way down from there. Siobhan says quarterbacks are going early. Yeah, it's Superflex. And Aaron says, hey, TD, I didn't get the notification. Bro, YouTube is crazy. Sometimes you gotta like do the notification thing and say no and then come back to it. It's crazy, man. YouTube is weird. Jamie says, yo, what's good, fantasy good? What's good, Jamie? The Rose says, I like AJ at the end of the first. I'll take AJ at the end of the first. It just depends. It just depends on what I got. If I could stack him with Devontae Smith, I feel good about it. But if I can't get the stack, I don't want him at that point. If I could get him and Devontae Smith, I might do it at the end of the first.
I wouldn't knock anyone for taking him at the end of the first. He's the wide receiver one on the Eagles.
Right.
We'll say this too. Being an ex-Charger fan, I still watch the Chargers, so I can laugh, but I don't think I'll be laughing too much in the next few seasons.
Right.
But their old OC, Kellen Moore, is now the OC of Philly, so you want to get one of those receivers this year. For sure.
Right.
A lot of passing.
Right. Ooh, what am I going to do here, man? It's rough out here in these streets.
So I had on my title team Cook and Kamara and Algier. Those were my running backs.
Wow. How do you feel about Algier this year?
I don't know. I liked it last year because of Art Smith, because he likes to run the ball a lot. So I figured that was a decent running back to have very late, and also a very good handcuff.
Right.
I still think he's going to have value, but I would think the Falcons would like to get Bijan, way more involved.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a Bijan year, man. There's no way Arthur Smith. I don't think he lost his job because of the record. I think he lost his job because of Bijan. Am I wrong for saying that?
Because he didn't roll them out like
he didn't use them. Like, even if you don't want to use them up, we all understand that. But why he didn't catch 100 passes and catch like 6 or 7 passes every single game? I
agree.
Like, it didn't make sense. You went to a game, not the game that he had the headache, but it was games where he was healthy and he got the ball 12 times. That's an automatically get fired. I understand not giving him 25 carries, but he at least should have 7 or 8 catches, just like Alvin Kamara did as a rookie.
Yeah, I would like if I'm the coach of the OC with a weapon like that, I'm giving him, what do you think, 15 to 17 carries and maybe like 8 targets a game?
15 touches at least every single game. At least.
For sure.
And right. 15 touches every single game.
Yeah. It was criminal how they didn't use him. Like, my sister drafted him in the first, and he underwhelmed until like later in the season where he did okay,
Right.
Like, the rookie running back to own would have been Gibbs.
Right.
But
yeah, but a lot of people drop Gibbs.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, because that's why I always tell people going down with the ship and don't drop. Like, man, bro, I don't drop guys. If I draft you like a rookie, I believe in you. I don't drop you. I didn't drop Christian Watson a few years ago when he was a rookie. I don't drop my guys because it can come back to hunt you.
I don't drop them either unless it's like a kicker or a defense spot.
Right.
But I'm not dropping my, the guys I drafted. I draft who I want. I believe in them, and
right.
For a bit, you don't want to be dropping them. I had Algier all year on my squad last year, all year. I wasn't going to drop him.
Right. It's almost like somebody taking your girlfriend and getting married to your girlfriend. Like, I can't. That's why I don't drop guys that I believe in, because I'm like, man, if I get beat by this guy later, I'm gonna be sick.
Absolutely. I knocked a guy out of the playoffs. The guy who drafted Rashee Rice, I had him against him and he lost. So, like, he was in that scenario as well,
Right.
By a guy he drafted. If you have James Cook, you should trade him away. So, one more round to go.
Yes. No, two more picks for me. So a couple people got 2 more picks, and everybody else got 1 more pick.
Okay.
I think every time we draft, everybody's getting better. And I don't want to just be biased and say it because I like your team. But I think when we first started off, it was like 3 or 4 really good teams, and everybody else was kind of like it wasn't a good team. Now it's hard to find a bad team on the board.
What I like to do, and it works, is I like to have all starters, even on my bench. So if I plug in a guy, say on a bye week, but that guy I plug in as a starter, you're sitting good. You know, you wanna have a full roster of starters you could rotate in at any moment. And
Right.
a lot of GMs don't do that, but it works for me, and it's a really good approach. Like I had Pickens last year as well, and I used him maybe 3 times.
Right.
But he's a starter, you know what I mean?
Right. So I like guys like DK and even Pickens from last year. I just start those guys. A lot of people be like, "Hey, should I start him?" TD, he's had 3 weeks on the 10 points. I don't care. This guy is getting 8 to 10 targets a game. You have to play him. If you don't, you're going to miss his boom. That's why you miss playoffs. To me, I played DK against the Cowboys when he had 50 points. And people say, "Well, why did you do that? How did you know that?" I didn't know anything. I just played him.
You got to start your studs.
You got to start your studs.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to start you got to leave room on your team so you can start them. Because if you get too many guys, there's no way you're gonna want to play DK over a guy like Calvin Ridley. Because if you got to choose between them two, so I don't want Calvin Ridley and I don't want to make a choice on my team to who should I start, because then you're gonna go with the safe guy. To me, I like to keep a short bench with a couple guys to put in like some backup, maybe a backup running back, maybe a backup quarterback. And that way I can start a guy like DK with no conscience.
Yep, I agree. This was a really good draft. Everyone drafted.
Right. Really. So, yeah, man, we get ready to we can judge some of these teams. Yeah, it's some good teams in here.
So Lion did what you did yesterday. He got that triple Dolphin stack.
He did. And he got a backup quarterback too.
Yeah.
That way, if Will Levis start hitting, he could trade. I'm not gonna say that's a bad pick. He could trade Will Levis. I like Will Levis.
I do too. And something to think about is their coach is the old Bengals OC, right?
Right.
So they got rid of Henry, so they're transitioning into a pass-happy team. So
there you go.
I will have one of those receivers on my squad this year for sure.
Yeah, me too. I actually think Treylon Burks is a deep sleeper. Deep sleeper.
I got him in Dynasty.
Right. I wouldn't sell him now. He's too cheap to sell him. You might as well hold on to him.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of him.
Right. And D-Line says, no, I think if you have James Cook, you should trade him away. So he's being funny because I have James Cook in the league and he want to get him. And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not trading him away. Siobhan says, it's some good stacks. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It is. To me, I like stacks because I like getting the best players on the best offense. And sometimes just because you got elite guys, sometimes it could be another guy that hits. And if you got the other guy, you're going to get those boom points from that team. That's like having Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill 4 years ago. No matter who went off, somebody was going to be the number one player. Pat Mahomes is going to be the number one player. Travis Kelce is going to be the number one player, or Tyreek. So I don't mind having all three.
That's like
sometimes all three could be top 12.
Yeah, that's 80 points with 3 players right there, almost.
Right. The Rose says, I was 100% right about Gibbs and Breach Hall last year. Right. Breece was he started off, he didn't start off good, but later in the season, he was a championship winning player. He balled out in the fantasy football playoffs, but early, he wasn't even top 24. Gibbs, same thing about Gibbs, too. You had to hold on to these two guys. A lot of people traded away those guys.
Any running back or wide receiver one paired with a healthy Aaron Rodgers is worth investing in.
Right.
No question about it.
Right. D-Line says Gibbs. And the Rose says, I had rankings up last year, but didn't start making content until the off season. Okay. So you had those guys ranked pretty good. D-Line says Burke was hurt last year, was questionable, and I'm on 2K and seeing him on my court a few hours before the game. So I'm on 2000. So I told everyone to bench him, and he was ruled out. Right. Yeah, I mean, injuries happen. I think he still has big play ability. I don't know if he's going to ever be like a 10 catch a game guy, but I believe that he can make some big plays for Will Levis.
Go watch his tape against the Packers. I want to say here.
Yep.
Hyper targeted, and he was not coverable. He was a problem.
Right. Mr. Sleeper said, "What's up, bro? I dropped A-Train right before his boom week. I remember that. That's what you gotta. You gotta hold on to guys if you believe in them, especially if you spending some draft capital on them. All right, guys. So let's go over some of these teams. Let's go over D Lions team. Tyreek Hill with the number 1 overall pick. I like that. He went with Tua with the 2nd pick, and then Superflex. That's a good pick, especially if you already got Tyreek Hill. Now there was other good quarterbacks on the board, but he wanted to stack. Then he went with A-Chain, so that was the double pick. Michael Pittman in the 4th is a really good pick. Trey McBride, that's an A team right there for me.
Yep.
I love Trey McBride. I think Trey McBride is going to be like I mean, to me, I'm calling him Baby Kelsey. Deshaun Watson, I probably would have went with another quarterback. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson is going to be bad this year, but I believe he could be top 12. So I think that's an okay pick. I will actually say that you're A- now. I just think you could have took a different quarterback. But I understand why you took Watson. But James Conner in the 7th is great value. Jalen Warren is solid. Rashid Rice, I'm not touching him. I'm not going to touch him. I don't think when he comes back, they're just going to start targeting him. I think they're going to punish him. Maybe in the real playoffs he gets some targets, but in fantasy, I don't think he's going to be fantasy valuable at all next year. That's just me, because he keeps doing crazy stuff. I don't know if they won't going to trust him in this offense. I think it's Xavier Worthy and maybe Marquise Brown takes over. Romeo Dobbs at the 10 is solid. I like the Will Levis to negotiate for value to trade later. I give this team, I'm gonna give it a B+. I think if you would with Rice and the Watson pick, it made me pull it down from an A- to a B+. What do you think, Harambe?
I was at an A-. I'm not a big Romeo Dobbs guy. Like I feel like he's a spot flex. Like you pick and choose when to start him.
Me too.
However, the 3rd quarterback, if he, booms on a pass happy team, you could trade for a wide receiver 2 or something like that.
Right.
The same with Watson. A little early, I probably would have waited a few rounds, but it is super flex, so I get that. I'm a little bit higher on Warren than most people because I think with Art Smith, he's going to get you some PPR value and some goal line. I would say a B+ is a perfect score for this team only because of Dobbs.
Right.
But that's just me nitpicking. Like that, you can do serious damage with this team.
Right, I agree. We got to nitpick, because if we don't nitpick, it's going to be like bland, right? So we got to nitpick a little bit.
Yeah. And if it was maybe a different quarterback in the middle instead of Watson, I would have bumped it up to an A-.
Me too. D-Line says, I love my first 3 picks. Like my top 5, I give a B overall. Quarterbacks flew off the board before I seen it. Right. I think you got more of a B+. Ethan says B+. Dolphin stacks is the best stack right now. I agree with that. I
mean, you got that double rainbow, Hill and Tua, and then you punch it in the goal line with A-Chain. That's nasty.
Right. And that even if A-Chain don't get the goal line carries, he's going to have big plays, right?
Yeah. And the tight end, that's a top 3 tight end, so that's going to carry. That's a playoff team easy.
Right. I agree. Denley, if you want to break, you can break this one down first if you want to.
You want me to do it?
Yes.
So we got CeeDee Lamb. Love CeeDee Lamb. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he'd be wide receiver 1 overall. Adams. I'm still high on Adams. I think he'll have a better year. Harrison in the third, and then Cup in the. Oh my God, this team's nasty. This is an A for me. You got Lamb, Adams, Harrison Jr., Cooper Cup, and Waddle.
Yeah, the receivers are sick.
That is nasty, man. That is. Oh man, that I love that. And then you got Ridley too. So you're fine at wide receiver, quarterbacks. I like Daniels. I think he'll have a serviceable, like a high QB2, possible low QB1 type of year.
Right.
Rushing. You always want rushing in fantasy. It's a cheat code. The running backs are serviceable for me, and I think they're actually good value where they were taken. And I love the Goddard pick. So I think people are sleeping on Goddard with that new OC. He will be targeted quite a bit, I feel. So I don't think he's a top 5. I think he could definitely challenge to be a top 10 tight end. So, oh man, to me, those receivers are nasty, and that alone, I'm a receiver guy that puts it at an A-. If you have better running backs, I'd even probably grade it higher. But I would say this is an A- for me. I could understand if it was a B+ to an A-. That team is stacked.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go B+ because I think if he would have got a little bit better, like Jaden Daniels can end up hitting, but right now I can't keep him in the A's with Jaden Daniels. But I'm gonna say B+. B+ because his running backs and quarterbacks, you can nitpick at those. You can't say nothing about those wide receivers. That's an A wide receiver. But then you got Jaden Daniels and Geno. Geno could lose his job. He could. I'm not saying he is, but he could. Javonte Williams is good to take in the 10th round. Goddard is solid for your 11th pick off the board. So I don't really have a lot to say about that. I think that's just a solid pick. But we nitpicking, so I'm gonna say B+. What you say, Arambi?
The value on this team where the people were taken is just insane.
Right.
This was a great draft.
Right, it was. Okay, we got B-Roll up here. What do you think, B-Roll? What do you think about this team?
I like Marvin Harrison in the third.
Okay.
That's nice value. He has good receivers. I mean, he has Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle. I mean, he has CeeDee Lamb and Adams.
That is nasty, man. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, even Jaden Daniels and Geno Smith aren't that bad.
Right.
I'll probably give it like a B+. A little weak on quarterback, a little weak on tight end and running back, but receivers are really strong. Yeah, I'll probably give it a B+.
Right. So you say B+? I think it's a B+. So yeah, let me see. Let me write that down. We got A-, and then we got in the chat, we got let me see, Doomsday. He says this is my first ever Super. I loved it. Okay. And Ethan says B+. It would be A. I think the QBS was filler picks rather than trying to get good quarterbacks. Okay. And D-Line says Superflex. I think JD and Geno hurt the team only because we don't know what to expect. Right. I agree with that. That's the only thing. Jaden Daniels, we don't know what to expect from him. So I'm gonna give both teams a B+. We got Lion B+, and we got Adinley B+. It's hard to judge these teams, guys, as y'all see. I mean, especially at this point in time, everybody's team is, we're getting a lot better. Everybody's team. I guess we'll go with Nifty next. I guess I'll start off. He got Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. For the first two quarterbacks, I love those. I love Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a breakout quarterback if you can call him a breakout. But I love Kyler Murray this year. I think to go a little bit deeper into Kyler Murray. Pause. I think when you have quarterbacks that are on teams that are not quite ready to win yet, but they always going to be trailing a little bit. That's how you win fantasy football championships. To me, if you get like these teams like a Lamar Jackson, maybe in the fourth quarter, Lamar takes his foot off the gas and he don't really want to play that much, or play that much into the fourth quarter, like Pat Mahomes did the last couple years, right? And so that's the thing. I like Kyler Murray because I think this team is going to be trailing. So I think this team is going to be always pushing the ball downfield, which is garbage points, and that gives you a lot of fantasy football value. So I want to break that down. So then he went Ayuk in the third. I like Ayuk in the third in the Superflex. Mike Evans. I'm kind of fading Mike Evans. That's just me. Y'all might feel different. Excuse me. But I think he's older, and I just want to play a dip. I don't want to be saying, Mike Evans cost me, and he got hurt with a hamstring injury. I don't want to say that because I've seen that happen, and he's getting older. So I just want to kind of predict that dip a little bit. DJ Moore in the fifth is gas. Long as Caleb Williams can be Caleb Williams, DJ Moore in the fifth is good. Mixon, I like Mixon. I see your two running backs. They not big time running backs. I think you could struggle at some point in time, but we don't know, So I'm not gonna give you a lot of points for your running backs, but I love Deontay in the seventh and Mark Andrews in the eighth. Even though I think likely is going to get more value, I still think Mark Andrews in the eighth is always good. I think he's going to be getting touchdowns early. They're going to look for Mark Andrews when they get to the red zone. Zay Flowers is a smaller wide receiver, so they don't have any really tall wide receivers on that team. So Mark Andrews could lead that team in receiving touchdowns. I just don't think he's going to get 70, 80 targets. I think it's going to be more like 50 or 60, but he's going to be very high completion percentage. DeAndre Swift, what I said about him, he's just okay. I don't know who's going to be getting the goal line. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think, can come and take over. Either DK or Tyler Lockett. If they don't play good, Jackson Smith and Jigba will start getting more of their targets. I think it was a good shot to take on Keon Coleman late in the 11th. I would give this team a B. And the reason why I'm giving it a B, it's a good team, but compared to giving these other teams a B plus, I got to give that team a B. The running backs are not that strong, and Mike Evans, I can nitpick you a little bit. I could personally, so I'm gonna give this team a B. Go ahead, the row.
If he would have went Jalen Waddle instead of Mike Evans and either Drake London or Chris Olave instead of Ayuk, I would have raised it up for me, but I'm still giving this team like an A minus. I actually think it's really good. I like DJ Moore in the fifth. I like Deontay Johnson in the seventh. I like Mike Andrews in the eighth. DeAndre Swift is nice value in the ninth. I just like this team overall. I think it's pretty good.
Okay. What do you think, Harambe?
I think this is a B plus team. I like every player on the team. I think Mixon will shatter his draft spot this year based on goal line. And I'm a little concerned about Hurts' rushing only because of Saquon. But I feel Hurts will pass more this year. So we need to see what happens there. But if he's, if they're doing the tushy-pushy all year, I would bump this to an A minus, but it's a B plus for me for Swift. I'm not big on Swift.
Me neither.
On that new team, he'll get run, obviously, but the wide receiver core and people still sleep on the tight end that's there. Like, I don't think Swift's going to have a lot of PPR value.
Right. Cole Kmet is a beast.
Yeah, man. He's a top 5, I'm pretty sure. But Swifty brings it down, and then the not knowing Hurts for the rushing upside brings it to a B plus. But like again, it could be a B plus to an A minus team. But right. I would give it a B plus.
Right. And like I said, I'm nitpicking. I think it's a good team, but I nitpicked his running backs, and I probably nitpicked a little bit on Mike Evans. So that to me brought it down as a B. We got Ethan. Says C plus. I don't like how old he went. I feel like you need some boom or bust young guys. Okay. D-Lion says Hurt collar is nasty. Evans proved me wrong every year, so I'm good with it. Right. Mixon, I'm not big on that early. DJ a PPR monster. Rest of the draft is okay. I go B. And Civil Rapture, what's up, bro? He said the kid gives out an A for almost any team. No, I mean, he just going with it. I mean, a lot of these teams are good. I mean, we splitting hairs here. So I can see those teams as being an A. I'm just not going to give it an A because I've gave some other teams B plus. But I don't think he's overrated. He sticks to his way, the way he judged teams.
Nifty is a great drafter, and I've seen him draft better teams than this team, but this is not a bad team.
Right.
So, I think it's a pretty good team. A couple Nick picks are like Mike Evans.
Right.
I mean, besides that, I mean, I feel like he got value where he could, and I like his two quarterbacks that he went.
I agree because it's tough. I mean, nobody's leaving guys on the board, so it's hard to get value. Mike Evans was there to get the value. Sometimes you just got to fade a guy just to fade him. So we nitpicking here, So it was good value. It wasn't a bad. I don't see, and there's no bad picks on this team. You're probably not gonna find a team on here that made some bad picks. What up, bro? And D-Line says, commit 2 touchdowns, money. Right. All right, we do pack it up. You can start with this one, Harambe.
All right. So CMC, Garrett Wilson, Love and Purdy for the 2 quarterbacks, Debo, Dalton Kincaid, Higgins, Reed, Odunze, Brooks, and Brown. I'm not a big fan of Purdy, but I can't deny he puts up points in fantasy. He's tied to an insane offense. I think those 2 quarterbacks are actually that's pretty nasty in my opinion if you're going to roll both of them out. And then he's got the stack with Debo. So that's money right there. And then the running backs, you got CMC, so you didn't have to really grab anyone till late. Took a rookie, and then he took Walmart, Austin Eckler, Chase Brown. I'm a big Chase Brown fan. I think this team, Higgins, Reed, I would give this team probably a solid B, not a B plus or a B minus, just a B.
Right. What do you think, bro?
The Brown stack too. I mean, that's pretty sneaky too, but I don't know what to make of Higgins this year.
I mean, I would have preferred the youth of Breece Hall and Bijan instead of CMC. But, I mean, I can't, really hate on anybody for going CMC. He was the number one running back last year. And he was really good last year, so you can't really hate on it too much. Garrett Wilson in the second's fair value. In the Superflex, maybe a little too high, but I don't mind Garrett Wilson in the second. And then he went around, got Jordan Love and Brock Purdy with that Debo Samuel stack. So I like that. He's got a solid tight end. Higgins, Reed, Odunze, all guys that I like. Then he's got Jonathan Brooks and Chase Brown. I'd probably give it a B plus. I think it's pretty solid.
I'm going to give it a B, and I'm nitpicking it with the Jaden Reed and Odunze. So if he don't have anybody to back those guys up early because, they might not get hyper-targeted early. Odunze is not going to go out-target DJ Moore the first game of the season. But could he do it at the end of the season? Most definitely. Jaden Reed, I think it's too many mouths to feed. Some offenses, we just don't know who's going to be the number one, and it's going to change every game. And so you got to be ready to deal with that with Jaden Reed. Then you went Brooks. I think that, like I said, those guys can hit later, but you're going to have to weather the storm. The first 4 picks are good picks. I love that you went and got Debo and Purdy. Debo is a little volatile. He's been injured. But in the 5th is great value. I love that you went with Kincaid. Kincaid is like a wide receiver. He's going to get a lot of targets. he might be probably the number one pass catcher for the Buffalo next year. Outside, because they don't have Stephon Diggs. I mean, unless you're gonna count on some of these other guys that haven't showed anything. I'm gonna give it a B. I think it's a B team. Let me see what the chat says. D-Line, okay, that's not it. Ethan says A minus. Wow. A minus. So we got A minus. And what did y'all say? B plus? Did y'all give it B plus or B's?
I give it B plus.
I gave it a B.
Okay. So I guess I would say with the A minus there, I guess I can give it, I think it's a B. I guess I go up to B plus with the A minus and Rose B plus. I guess I give it a B plus. Okay.
I mean, if Wilson returns like insane value, like we think he can with Rodgers, and then you have CMC.
Right.
So CMC, in my opinion, can put any team over the top. If you
You're
look
right.
at year-long numbers versus like the top receivers, he's right there. So he's a cheat code still.
Right.
He's got the 3 Niners. I have Debo in Dynasty, and he's very volatile. So he'll boom, and then he won't do anything for a game, and then he'll boom like 2 games and then disappear. So very balanced team. I don't see like a lot of explosion though. Wilson,
right.
CMC, I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Right. And you make a great point. CMC could probably get them through into Odunze and Brooks is ready to go if they do go. So that's a good point. That's why I gave him it's a B plus. We got a lot of B pluses and 1 B.
We have no A's yet, huh?
No A's.
Interesting.
SoCal Jr. He's in a couple of my dynasty leagues. He went with Justin Jefferson at the 1.6. Great value. He's been the 1.1 for the last 2 years. So Justin Jefferson at the 1.6 is great value. You got Jonathan Taylor at the 2. I like that. Derrick Henry. This guy waited late on quarterbacks. And I like that strategy when 2 quarterbacks was already gone off the board. You got Justin Herbert in the 4th. I don't think Justin Herbert is going to be a top 5 guy this year, but could he be a top 12 guy? Yeah. Could he get hot and win you a fantasy football championship because he's hot in the 4th quadrant? This offense is clicking with McConkey and with Brendan Rice and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that can happen. Then DK in the 6th and Kirk Cousins, Najee in the 7th, and Njoku, Terry McLaurin. Mostert, I'm going to nitpick that a little bit. I think with Jalen Wright going there, I think it's going to be hard for Mostert to be a top 12 running back this year. Could it be top 24? Maybe. But I think Devon A-Chain is going to have more value, and I think Wright's going to come in there a little bit. Mike Williams, I gave B-Roll hell yesterday about Mike Williams. I just don't see why you would draft Mike Williams. I think he's got to be a waiver wire pickup. That's just me. But if he hits, I could be totally wrong.
I like his talent. It's just his ability to stay healthy.
Right, he just got to stay healthy. And he never really stayed healthy. Not even one season of his career. But who knows? I like this team. This is one of my favorite teams. I'm still gonna go B plus. I'm not gonna give it an A. How could it have been an A? Maybe if he had one more better quarterback outside of Kirk Cousins. Even though Herbert is not my favorite, but Herbert is good value in the 4th. I love Njoku. Mike Williams took it down to a B plus. I would have gave it an A minus, but Mike Williams took it down. What do you think, Ro?
I don't think Mike Williams necessarily takes it down for me, especially in the 11th. Don't really love Mostert. I think Jalen Wright is going to be his replacement. I think Mostert still could have a little bit of value, but we'll see how that pans out. I like Terry Scary in the 9th, and that's some nice value. Giving to Njoku. Man, I probably would have took Kittle over him. Maybe even Hawkinson, even though he might deal with some injury. But I'm probably going to give it like a B+. I like the team overall. I like Kirby in the 4th. I like Kirk Cousins in the 6th. I like DK in the 5th. I think the team's pretty well-rounded. Just a couple nitpicks like Mostert and Njoku.
Right. What do you say, Harambe?
This was my favorite team until Mostert. All these picks are gas until Mostert.
Right.
Williams. I have Williams in Dynasty, so I feel a certain type of way. Mostert scored 20 plus touchdowns last year. They drafted Jalen Wright. That's in your draft. Like, I know you're high on that guy, and I think gas for that team, especially as a PPR type back.
Right.
I had this team at an A until Mostert, and then I would drop it down to a B plus. Because all those starters all the way through Terry McLaurin
or gas, right?
Gas, like the two quarterbacks, gas. Those running backs are gas. I'm higher on Najee than a lot of people because Art Smith, and also they're not going to pick him up, so he's playing for a contract essentially. So I'm all over Najee here. And I also think Metcalf is being a little undervalued this year, not by much, maybe like
I agree.
A round or two. To me, he's AJ Brown. He's the same kind of receiver. So if you don't AJ, you could get Metcalf 2-3 rounds later. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And those running backs are disgusting. Like Taylor, Henry, and Najee.
Right.
That is nasty, man. Henry could do 15 touchdowns this year just because.
I agree.
Could easily be a top 5 back.
Yeah. And Taylor, if he stays healthy, and the quarterback there stays healthy. And then you got Jay Jettas. I mean, he's gonna be a target hog in that offense.
Right.
Last year, dropped it down to a B. I had the best team.
Right. I'm gonna give him a B plus. I'm nitpicking with the Mike Williams and Mostert. I agree. His first 9 picks are gas. It could be an A-, but let's see what the crowd says. So before let's see. All right, let's go up a little bit. So D-Line, talking about last team real quick, I'm gonna pull that up. He says Debo, Higgins, and Adunze, bottom half not sold on. Kincaid can be this year's Davis, and Diggs gone. It could be this year with Davis, but Diggs is gone. B team. Yeah, that's what I said too. Silver Raptor says B-. Okay. And let's go back to SoCal's. So I think Civil Raptor was talking about SoCal's team. He said B-. And Ethan says B. And Njoku and Jefferson were great picks, but Henry was a little early to me though. I don't know. I can't say Henry was early because the offense. If Henry was by himself in Tennessee, I would say yeah. But with Lamar Jackson, he's never going to have a lot of guys. I mean, you got to worry about Lamar Jackson always throwing it or running it. So Derrick Henry's going to probably have the best box that he's seen in his career. Pause. That he's seen in his past. Like, I mean, he's not going to have 11 guys in the box.
Dude, the pauses are killing me, man.
Yeah. So we got D-Lion says JJ with JJ. No. Herb and Cousins, though, in those spots, I like B. Okay. I don't like JJ McCarthy as a passing quarterback, not touching anyone on Vikings in redraft leagues. Okay. Silver Rapture says Joe Flacco hyper-targeting Njoku. Watson isn't known for targeting a tight end often. But this is what I say. Y'all answer this for me real quick. What do y'all think? Why would you go, if you're the offensive coordinator, wouldn't you sit down with Deshaun Watson and say, we building this offense to get Njoku the ball at least 6 or 7 times a game?
The running game's going to be weaker too. There's no Chubb.
Right.
So
right. I just don't see how you could be able to go away from Njoku after he did what he did. That's just me.
I've been on Njoku for years now.
Me too.
But to me, he's not utilized right. And then like the last 2 years, we saw glimpses of how good he could be. I think Njoku is a great value tight end late.
Me too. He was the best tight end in the game in the fantasy football playoffs, right? I mean, in NFL, right? I think so. I think he was better than Travis Kelce and Trey McBride. And
In the
George Kittle.
in the playoffs, he killed it with Flacco. He killed
Yeah,
it.
he killed it with Flacco. Right. He was the best tight end in the game with Flacco. So I mean, I know that's Flacco, but we'll see. SoCal, he says I took Williams being a Charger fan. Okay. And it cost you an A, bro. From my point of view. From my point of view. He says just a believer still. The Rose says I agree with Mike Williams. And SoCal says, and with most, I believe that you can fully go away from the guy that had 21 touchdowns last year. I agree with that. I feel like if he's healthy, he would have one more year. I feel like my team is an A minus. It possibly could be, but with Jalen right there, I think they save most of it a little bit and don't wear him out. What do y'all? Would y'all think that they save him a little bit this year?
Yeah.
Or they give
Right.
him. They know he's at the end, like the peak of his career. He's on the backside, so maybe they use him early and often, and then save maybe A-Chain for the Colts.
Right. That's a good point, Harambe. That's a great point. Silver Rapper says that the B minus was for 5. Okay. He says I give number 6 a B. Okay, so he's saying SoCal is a B. All right, appreciate you explaining that. Nifty says never can complain about a good box.
Right. That's right.
Oh, buddy, stop it, bro. Stop it. D Lions is fully guaranteed he ain't listening to none of them. He doing him right. Silver Rabbit says, I don't hate Joku. I just don't think he will have as much action as he did with Flacco. Right. It just says, I think Joku could be better than Kelce this year. I agree with that. I think you can't go away from that. Good offensive coordinators change with their players. And I think Kevin Stefanski is a good offensive coordinator.
I agree.
Siobhan says, Peter, you're going to discuss the strength of schedule and bye weeks and how to navigate through that. Yes, but I'm not big on I'm not going to not draft a guy because of strength of schedule. Because things change. If you like Lamar had his best games against the toughest teams. Like he balled out against San Francisco and a couple other teams. He balled out against Cleveland. So Lamar had some of his best games against some of the toughest teams. But I will talk about it this year. I will talk about strength of schedule. What's going on, Ivan? Guys, me and Ivan will make sure I'm going to post a link inside my community tab. But me and him will be doing Thursday. We will be doing a mock draft together. 5:00 Eastern time. 5:00 Eastern time. He says most of it is an easy fade to me. I agree with that. It's hard to disagree with Silver Tate. Right, it is. It is. Okay, so let's go with Currybot. I guess you could take this one, Harambe.
All right, so we got St. Brown, Puka Shells, Laporta, Gas, Stafford, Neighbors, Jameer White, Rogers. I love this the old QBs here. I love this. If they stay healthy, I love that.
Right. Redraft too?
Yeah, why not? Walker, you just got to grab a backup.
Right.
J-Mo, Singletary, and Tracy.
Woo!
I like what he did with the Giants run game there. J-Mo, we know that dude has talent. Hopefully he can put it together, over the course of the year.
Right.
Walker, Rogers, White, Neighbors, Stafford, Laporta, Puka, and St. Brown. You guys might feel differently. I would give this a B plus only because 2 Giants running backs. I understand the squeeze, but like if he had a different player in one of those last 2 rounds, that team would have been an A for me.
What do you think?
I think it's an A minus. I know I got some hate for giving out a lot of A's, but like the only pick that I dislike is a Monreal over Jamar Chase, but I like every other pick. I like Puka. I like Sam Laporta. I like Matthew Stafford in the 4th. I feel like that's fair value. I like Malik Nabers in the 5th. I think he could end up doing good things. Even in a bad offense, he's going to be the main target there, like just about the only weapon.
Right.
Zamir White, Kenneth Walker, I like both those running backs. I think that's a fine running back duo. And then you got Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy as the Giants running backs. I don't hate that at all. I actually really like this team. I'll probably give it an A-. Not quite an A, but it's pretty good.
So if I'm not a Devin Singletary fan,
Right.
I noticed the team 2 spots ahead took Brown in the last round, Chase Brown. So if this team would have taken maybe a Chase Brown instead of Singletary and then followed up with Tracy, this team would have been an A to me.
Right.
I'm not a Singletary fan either, but I do like Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have preferred him to go Brian Robinson than Tyrone Tracy. I feel like that could have helped his team out a lot more, in my opinion.
Right.
The 4 picks I love. Like, I love those picks. Love
right. It. So just real quick to talk about, I was talking about Tyrone Tracy, guys, when he wasn't even like on sleeper yet. Yeah, I think y'all remember because y'all been watching my channel for a while. I said Tyrone Tracy was my top 5 rookie running backs. Nobody had him in top 5. So I love Tyrone Tracy. And then he went to the Giants where they don't have a bell cow, Devin Singletary. He's gonna get some opportunities. And I like that he squeezed it. I would have, if he just would have had Devin Singletary, I'd have been like, or just Tyrone Tracy, I'd have been like, But he squeezed. One of those 2 guys are going to get carries, and he's going to be able to figure out. See, sometimes when you squeeze, you're just trying to whoever show me what you got, I'm going to play you. And then you can get rid of the next guy, and then when you can work the waiver wire for another rookie guy that ends up booming. Same thing with Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams doesn't have to boom, but if he does, he has that. And I think this team could work the waiver wire too and pick up a quarterback or a wide receiver or even a running back to complete it. This is an A- team to me. Because I love the squeeze. Now you can say he over squeezed. I don't think so. I think he's going to make sure that he got the best 2 players from Detroit. He's going to have the best 2 players from the New York Giants, and those guys are going to get a lot of value. Even I'm not high on taking rookie wide receivers in the 5th round, but because Giants don't have anybody, I believe eventually Malik Nabers will be good, and he has Puka Nacua and Amon-Ra St. Brown to get him to that point when Malik Nabers start breaking out. Zamir White, everybody's sleeping on Zamir White. Who's going to take his carries? Nobody's going to take his carries. Kenneth Walker, I'm not high on, but you got him in the 8th round. And I know how Rowe feel. He loved Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
I'm giving this team an A-. If he'd have had a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, it would have been an A to me.
The only thing that's bringing it down for me, and not even so much the Amon-Ra, I can see him going Amon-Ra over Chase, but I would have preferred Chase. It's really the Devin Singletary over like a Brian Robinson or Chase Brown or Tyjae Spears, which I like ahead of him. Even a Trey Benson I like more than Devin Singletary. But I do like Tyrone Tracy. I think that's a good value in the 11th.
Right.
This team can get you, man, like those 2 receivers and that basically wide receiver 1 that's in the tight end slot. And then 2 quarterbacks are healthy, putting up numbers. This is a nasty team.
Right. Kerry is always he draft is good. I hate getting near him because he sniped me from my guys, but he's a great drafter. I mean, the last 2 or 3 drafts that we did, I mean, he's had really great teams.
I like this team a lot.
Ivan said strength of schedule is more of a secondary stat, but changes easily. Right. I pay attention to it a little bit, but really, it don't really matter to me. I'm not gonna not draft a guy if I believe in him. But like maybe later on, like for my guys that I'm going to draft at the end, I might look at the strength of schedule for them. But usually I don't pay attention to it at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not saying it's not important. D-Line says my favorite team, A for me. Right. Silver Rabbit says he done went and grabbed himself an A-. I agree. Aaron Holloway says A-. D-Line says great job, Kerry.
It's a great team.
Ethan's this is him himself. He said, "Yeah, you've been talking about Tracy even when he was ranked 2,200, right? Saying he could go first round in Dynasty, right? Well, I wasn't saying he was going to go first round in Dynasty, but I was saying that he was my top 5 running backs. I wasn't going to take him. I'm always going to take I'm not going to draft guys out of their ADP, but I'll take them a few rounds earlier to make sure I get them. And guys, don't you know I didn't get Tyrone Tracy? I got sniped because a lot of my guys are in my leagues. They listen to my channel, and they was taking Tyrone Tracy guys at the end of the second and the beginning of the third. I'm like, come on, guys, you ain't gonna let me get Tyrone Tracy. But because I was trying in some leagues, I got him in like the 5th round. But in other leagues, I got him. I got sniped from him. But yeah, I'd say this team is an A-. I think this is the first A- team.
I think Jaime Vidal is someone I like better than Tyrone Tracy, but they're pretty close in my opinion.
Right. I took Vidal too. I like him too. Tell me what did you like about Tracy Harambe? What did you like about him?
About Tyrone Tracy?
Yes.
I like his swagger, man. I watched his interviews and stuff. He's confident. And he's a converted wide receiver.
Yep.
They might have like an Antonio Gibson type guy on their hands, and he could probably be better. He's bigger and stronger, it seems like.
Right.
They don't have a running back, really. Saquon left, and
right.
We might be sleeping on that team a little.
I think so too.
Fantasy perspective.
I agree. What do you like about him, Ro?
Like Harambe said, I like the fact that he's a converted wide receiver. He could definitely catch passes. Kind of similar to Devin Singletary, but I think he plays bigger. I think he's a stronger back.
I agree.
I think he could definitely end up taking Devin Singletary. I don't think Singletary is bad, but I don't think he's like any competition for Tyrone Tracy.
Right. But this is where we got to give Devin Singletary a little bit of respect. He beat out last year. What's his name?
Dameon Pierce.
And Devin Singletary, guys, I had him. He helped win me a championship. I started him, and he balled out for the Houston Texans. And he's been doing that for a while. He did it for Buffalo. He did it for Houston. He's one of these guys where I'm not saying he's Amari Cooper, but he's like that. You're like, I don't want Devin Singletary. And all of a sudden, week 7, you want to play Devin Singletary. He's the number 1 waiver wire pickup for redraft. That's how it happens. So we got to give him a little bit. That's why I made the team A-. But I understand what you're saying about Brian Robinson. But I think Austin Eckler, especially for a young quarterback, I think he could be best, maybe his favorite target. Austin Eckler could.
Yeah.
Because of Jaden Daniels being so young.
It's gonna be check down city, man. For Eckler, Tracy, Daniel Jones is gonna check it down to him a lot.
Yes, I agree with that too.
Yeah, my brother, he's in a league of mine. He really likes Austin Eckler. He hasn't devalued him from last season.
Right, you told me about that.
Yeah.
Ethan says Puka and Stafford is my 3rd favorite quarterback receiver duo behind Dolphins and Eagles duo. I agree. Those are my 3 top stacks. I love those. All right, let's go to Don Padre. Appreciate you being here, bro. You can do this one first if you want to, Ro.
I actually have to end up going. I have a draft scheduled in like 5 minutes.
Okay, bro. I appreciate you coming up, man.
Yeah,
just like I said, hit me up with an email, man, and we could do some content together.
Okay.
Later, bro.
See ya.
Yep.
Follow you, bro. When we're done, I'll give you a follow.
Okay. So he went with Breach Hall. I love Breach Hall. CJ Stroud in the 2nd. Drake London. I like that. I like Nico Collins because you got the stack. I like Williams in the 5th. Tank Dell, you got another stack. Christian Kirk, people are sleeping on him. He could probably be the number 1 wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Bowers. I think people could be thinking too much from him, but I think he's going to be okay, especially maybe later in the season. Tony Pollard is solid. I don't know who's going to be the number one there, so you kind of got to take that with that. Zach Moss in the 10th, another guy you don't know who's going to be the number one there. I think Brown's going to get a lot of opportunities, but Brian Robinson in 11th is a great value. I'm going to give this team. I guess I'll give this team a B. I guess B plus. I give this team a B plus. What do you think, Harambe?
For me, love the receivers, love the running backs. I'm higher on Moss than a lot of people. He's going to get goal line. I think they manufacture or scheme in plays for Chase Brown, passing plays. Pollard is a filler guy. He's like probably going to be a decent RB2, maybe. Bowers, we don't know about. Williams, we don't know about. Hall, Stroud, London, and Nico, that was an A for me. Some of the later picks bump it down to a B for me. Just
right.
I think Eckler's going to return good value in Washington. I think Robinson will still have value in Washington. I like Moss more than people. I think he's a perfect RB2 for this team.
Right.
Bowers isn't proven. I still like Adams in that offense, and they have the other tight end as well. Granted, they didn't draft Bowers to block. Yeah, it's a B. Like Robinson and Pollard, bring it down to a B, and then Williams and Bowers bring it to a B, just because we don't know. But again, it's nitpicking. Like this team is
right.
C also.
Right. Doomsday says this was my first ever Superflex draft, and I loved it. Yep, bro. Yes, sir. I hope you come back, man.
Yeah.
And D-Line's a great team, A-, but I'm a running back guy, and those three bottom not for me. But Breach, stop it, man. Y'all leave me alone about Breach, man. Is one running back this year. You know, that's one thing about my content, man. You got to just go with it. I know I'm from the country, man, and I remember my dad and my uncles. They would say certain people names. They would say it funny. My dad used to call Tony Romo Romeo. So I seem like I picked up a couple of those habits. But yeah, man, Breach Hall, man, I think he's a great pick in the first round. I'm trying to actually get to him. I'm usually a 0 RB guy, but I'm trying to get to Breach this year. But yeah, I think this team is a B. So I guess we got an A- and 2 Bs. I think that equals out to about a B. I'm gonna stick with a B. It's a good team.
Yeah.
But we nitpicking with the Tony Pollard and the Williams at quarterback as a rookie.
I think Pollard might return some PPR value this year, but like I'm not trusting El Cal because they still got Tajay.
Right. Tajay might end up beating them out.
He could. But Pollard went home because he went to college in Memphis, you know?
Right. And before he got hurt, he was one of the most explosive running backs in the league. D-Line is crazy. He said Breach is the only correct way to pronounce it. At work, that's how I say it now.
I say that too with my my league guys. We have a chat. Called Breach.
They be thinking you crazy. Like, man, who is Breach?
You started a movement, TD.
Right. My girl said she was like, Breach, who is Bree Charles? So she sound like I be saying Bree Charles. She don't like not Bree Charles. She's like, who is Bree Charles?
He's the RB1, man. He's the RB1.
Right. Right. So, all right, guys. So let's move on. We got 4 more to go, man, before we get out of here. Let's go to Sterling Raiders. Appreciate you being here, Sterling. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's cutting edge content. Make sure you share it. But he went B-John. Anthony Richardson. I love that. I love Anthony Richardson in a super flex in the second round with that rushing upside. Trevor Lawrence in the third. I'm just going to be even kill with that, man. I would love to get him like later. around Justin Herbert value. That's just me. But Chris Olave with your first wide receiver off the board in the fourth and Superflex, that's okay. Rashad White, okay, I like that. I like Rashad White in the fifth. He's a pass catching running back. George Pickens in the sixth. I'm even kill with it. Evan Ingram, I'm always gonna give people credit for that. He's a top 5 tight end, been that for the last 3 to 4 years. David Montgomery, he's good. I think you're gonna be able to start with David Montgomery every week. I love that you went with Thomas with the stack, and then I love Mitchell was another stack as a rookie. So I'm gonna give you some credit for those 2 guys. That took you back up as a B+. Benson with Connor being a little volatile. I give this team a B+. What do you think?
For me, it's a solid B. T-Law in the same way. Like, I would have rather have had Love. I would have rather had Stafford over him, Burrow, but Olave, White is good. Pickens, the 2 rookie receivers, granted, are good talent. We don't know what's going to come with that. I love the Trey Benson pick in the last round. I think.
Yep.
I think by the end of the year, that's the guy. I love Montgomery. I always have, even when he was in Chicago. He's going to get the goal line TD, so it's probably another 10 touchdowns right there. Pickens is going to be hit or miss. If they could get him the ball, he's obviously explosive.
Right.
I know you don't like Olave too much. I'm kind of indifferent on him. I could go either way, but he is the wide receiver 1 in New Orleans.
Right.
This team to me is just it's a B-.
Right.
I think there's explosive players on this team. I just T-Law and Pickens there. I personally, I would have gone with different players, but again, we're nitpicking.
Right. I can see that. I can see me maybe going a little higher grade than normally. I love the B. John and Anthony Richardson, and then he went and got 2 young wide receivers to go with those guys, and then he also had Evan Ingram. And David Montgomery was a top 5 running back the first 5 weeks of the season. So, but yeah, I definitely can see how this could be a B- B team. Because we got a lot of like George Pickens. That's what wears me with George Pickens. I don't know if Justin Fields or Russell Wilson gonna be able to get him the ball.
Right.
I don't know. Silver says T-Law in the third is a C. Yeah, that's a little early for T-Law. It is. D-Line says could have rated on T-Law. Last 3 picks all questionable, but B. John and Pickens I love. I give this team a B. Okay. Silver Raptor says C+. Yeah, so I guess we'll say a B. We'll say a B. B-. I say B-.
I think Richardson could be QB1 if he stays.
Yeah, he can, man. He can, man. If he stays healthy, I agree. That's why I gave him a lot of credit. He can be. Underdog, what's up, bro? Underdog, so he went with Josh Allen at the 110 and Superflex. That's always good. Saquon and Josh Jacobs. I'm not big on Josh Jacobs, but I love where you took him because you already got your quarterback. Then you turn around with Goff. Goff is a top 12 easily quarterback. I mean, he's got a lot of value. I mean, you going with Goff to me is better than T-Law. So you could, I'm gonna give you credit for that. Devontae Smith in the 5th, I like him even though he's a number 2. He could be number 1 wide. He could be a number 1 wide receiver for most teams. I'm not big on Isaiah Pacheco, but he's your 3rd running back, so I'm not going to deduct you from that. I'm not that big on Marquise Brown. I think he's just a solid pick. D-Hop. I mean, it's D-Hop. He's still going to command 7 targets a game. George Kittle in the 9th is a killer. I'm not touching Nick Chubb, but I understand why you would do it. And Christian Watson as 11th pick is good. I think this team is a B+. What do you think, Arambi?
It's a B for me. Wait. Golf. I like Hollywood more than UTD. I think he has value on that team, and I think probably by midseason, putting up some numbers. D-Hop is D-Hop. Kittle is Kittle. This is a B plus for me. I thought that Chubb was his second running back, and then I saw the other running backs. So to have Chubb as your fourth running back, and if he comes back, I'm higher on
Right.
Pacheco than you as well. He's
Okay.
going to get the line. McKinnon is older. They signed CEH, but Pacheco is good. I mean, you figure that dude's good for 50 and 80 yards a game, potential touchdown. So
Right. I
I
agree.
like his running back core a lot. I think Barkley will have probably one of his best years this year.
Right.
I like Jacobs a little more, and I like Pacheco a little more than you. I get why you don't. I think Jacobs will have a great year in Green Bay. So it's this is a B plus for me.
Okay. And the chat says Silver Rapture says B minus and D Lion says B. So looks like we're gonna be rated at probably a B plus. Me and you both gave him a B plus, and then a B, then B minus. So I guess I say B plus. A lot of strong teams here. A lot of strong teams here. All right, then we got to go with B Silver in the house. Okay, so let me do that. So B Silver, he went with Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, and Dak Prescott. AJ Brown in the second, Jamar Chase at the 11th. I got to give you credit for that. Jamar Chase was going in, even the Superflex was going top 5 last year. So if he stays healthy, that's gas. Dak Prescott was the number 1 quarterback down the stretch with him and CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Almost an MVP candidate in real life. AJ Brown was the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, him and Tyreek. So I'm gonna say that's an A minus. Diggs, a lot of mouths to feed. I'm not that big on Diggs this year. I think he's gonna have some good weeks for you. So him being your 3rd wide receiver is solid. Keenan Allen, same thing, a lot of mouths to feed. Alvin Kamara, I think that takes you back up to an A minus. I think Alvin Kamara is going to catch 5 or 6 passes a game. Baker Mayfield, I'm not that high on, but I can understand why you took him. I would go to the B plus. Ramondre Stevenson in the 8th. I like him in the 8th. I say A minus. Chuba, we don't know. They went and drafted the young running back. So I'm not that high on Chuba anymore. But Ferguson is a good tight end. But then you went with TJ Hockenson, so I might have to nitpick. I don't want to back up Hockenson with anybody. I just don't want to take Hockenson at all. If you got Ferguson, then you're good. I would rather took Hockenson and got another player like Christian Watson or somebody in the later rounds. I'm gonna say this team is a B plus.
Yeah. I'm still high on Diggs and Allen. Who knows if they're going to stay healthy, especially Keenan, but there's going to be games where those guys are putting up monster PPR numbers.
Right.
Pair them with AJ Brown and Jamar Chase. I'm a wide receiver guy. Those are nasty receivers. Dak Prescott is undervalued every single year. We see it every year. Baker was undervalued last year. Don't know what he's going to do this year. I'm higher on Ramondre than most people. I have him in Dynasty too, so maybe I'm a little biased, but his skill set is good. I had Chuba last year on my title team. Ferguson. I don't think you needed to take Hockenson there, but I get it. I think he was the tight end 1 through the first 4 to 6 weeks last year.
Yep.
So I'm not going to – and again, tight end's a safety valve for a rookie quarterback. So if that guy stays healthy, he could be a tight end 1. To me, this team is it's a B.
Right.
But if you gave it a B plus, I wouldn't argue with that. Just the 2 tight ends in the Superflex, and then your second quarterback being Baker, just takes it down a bit for me. But again, those wide receivers will carry.
Right. Siobhan says I like Hollywood too. Out of the 3 main receivers, magazines will be throwing to. He has the most experience. I think he's going to eat a lot before Rice comes back if he's suspended. Yeah. I don't know. He could if he stays healthy, because it's hard for him to stay healthy too. He hasn't stayed healthy the last couple of years.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Siobhan says Mahomes will be throwing to right. D-Line says B minus, just not my team at all. And Silver says B minus. Yeah. I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna give it a B. So we got 2 B minuses. He said B minus. Yeah, I guess we can go with the B minus. I think it's a good team though. I think B Silver had a good team. It's just the Baker Mayfield and the 2 tight ends. All right, now we on to my homeboy in one of my leagues, to Forrest Spain guy. He went with Pat Mahomes, number 1 in Superflex. That's good. Gibbs, ETN. Both of those guys very explosive. Travis Kelce, always a great pick. Amari Cooper, really, you know what, Amari Cooper, that's 70 points in the playoffs. Xavier Worthy with the stack. Drake May, I can see how you could do that with Mahomes, but I got to take you down from there. Just because we nitpicking. McConkey, I think he's one of the best young wide receivers because of the opportunity. I don't like Addison at all. I don't think JJ McCarthy can have 2,000-yard wide receivers. I need to see that. Cortland Sutton, he's okay. I would like to take him with the last pick, but not there. But I mean, he's still the number 1. I think Marvin Mims can take his spot. Lockett is always solid. I'm gonna give this team. I'm gonna have to give this team a B minus. The reason why is Drake May, and then you went Addison Sutton. I'm gonna have to give that a B minus. What do you think, Harambe?
It's a B minus for me. The last 3 picks, I would have gone a different route, especially with JJ McCarthy being a rookie. I don't know. Someone mentioned they were staying away from Vikings position players. Addison would be one I would stay away from. I like Cortland Sutton a little bit more. He's the wide receiver 1 there.
Right.
I tried to trade for him last year in my league to plug him into the flex because he was getting 10 points a week. So out of the flex spot in a half PPR, it's not bad. Lockett, if he stays healthy and gets fed the ball, he'll return value. But I see Metcalf and JSN, being the guys this year.
Me too.
But for me, it's a B minus, maybe even plus.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Silver Raptor says C. D Lion says May needs weapons, needed a third quarterback. Addison and McCarthy, no. Sutton, no. Mahomes, Kelce stack, can't go wrong. Gibbs going to be a B team. Right. That's what took it up. The first 5 picks is gas. 6. It was really, really good. I mean, he could have possibly had an A team. And then he went with May, and then McConkey was okay. Then Addison and Sutton, and it killed his value on the team. But I mean, I can see how he can do that. But I'm not touching Addison at all this year. Addison might have to come off waivers for me, or be a bench guy, like a flex guy. Silver says they would have been decent basketball team. Yeah, right. I can see that. All right, last team. I'm gonna go over my team a little bit, and then I'll let you rate it. Like I said, man, don't take it easy on me. Judge me hard. Pause. But okay. So Lamar Jackson, y'all know how I feel about Lamar. So I could have waited on quarterbacks, and I think this is a draft, and this is the season where you can wait and get guys like Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, and have a really good team. But I love Lamar. So I went with Lamar. Then I went with Kyron Williams. I thought at that value at the 211, he's an elite running back. I don't think Blake Combs is going to be taking his goal line opportunities. He's just going to come in and spare him to keep him from getting hurt. Joe Burrow, I'm not super high on Joe Burrow, but it's super flex. I feel good as Joe Burrow being my number 2 quarterback. James Cook. I love James Cook. PPR catching running back. He's going to have some boom weeks. He could be the number 1 running back a couple weeks like he was last year. I think maybe 1 or 2 weeks he might have been like number 1 or number 2. I got the stack with Zay Flowers. I love Zay Flowers and Lamar. I think Zay Flowers could be a possible top 5 wide receiver most of the year. He might not finish his top 5, but I know he'll definitely finish his top 12. this offense is going to pass more. I like Godwin because I believe Godwin's going back into the slot, and I think he's going to be hyper targeted. And he's the youngest wide receiver on that team. Mike Evans is getting older. I don't think they're going to use Mike Evans as much as they did last year. He's going to be more of the touchdown guy, but the PPR monster guy is going to be Godwin. Kyle Pitts, I just took him. I wanted to wait for like Njoku or somebody, but I took him. I said, why not? Because I do like Pitts this year. He's going to be the number 2 target on that team. Is going to be Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and who knows? Kirk Cousins might start liking using Kyle Pitts more than Drake London. Who knows, right? Austin Eckler. I love Austin Eckler in the 8th pass catching running back. Gus Edwards. He's the starting goal line running back right now. I break my running backs down into 2 categories. You don't have to get all the carries. If you're getting all the goal line carries, you are an optimal running back. And Gus Edwards right now, it's going to get all the goal line carries until something else happens. And one like Vidal or one of these other guys beating them out. I love Rashid Shaheed over Olave. I'm not saying he's better than Olave, but for the value, I got him in the 10th round, and Olave went in the 3rd round. And I believe Shaheed's going to have bigger plays, and I play in leagues where you get bonus for big plays. That's why I love Shaheed. Also, he's going to be getting opportunities on this new kick return format, and I give out yards. It's not 1 yard. It's not 1 point for every 10 yards on kick return, but it's like 1 point for every 25 yards on kick return I do in my leagues because I want to try to get all facets of the game. And I love Tajay Spears. I think Tajay Spears can end up being not Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears could be the breakout player for this year. Like he's going late, and he can end up being a top 24, top 12 guy in a lot of leagues this year. So go ahead, Bert. What do you think about my team?
Love the quarterbacks. I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm biased, but my favorite player is Lamar Jackson in the league, so I'm biased there too. James Cook's PPR value should go up. Kyron Williams already has PPR value, and we know in Sean McVay's system, when you have his trust, you're going to get the ball and you're going to be on the field a lot. We saw that last year with Kyron. I'm a huge Zay Flowers fan. I feel he's undervalued still.
Right.
In my league, I would imagine he's probably going to go in the first 3 rounds. Godwin, I've been a fan of Godwin for a long time. Even when AB was on the Bucs, I had Antonio Brown in a Godwin stack that year, and it paid off every single week. This was an A team for me, TD, but I'm bumping you down to a B+ only because your last pick. I felt like you should have gone wide receiver there because you were pretty good at running backs already.
Right.
I like Tajay Spears, but like if it was me and I was drafting that team, I probably would have added an extra receiver there. And then the tight end you got, he's in for a career year. Gus Edwards is going to have probably 10 touchdowns this year.
Right.
And Shaheed, the guy's explosive. Michael Thomas is gone.
Right.
And playing in a league with, like you said, kick return points or big boom plays, the guy is criminally undervalued. So the team was stacked. It is stacked. I mean, it's a stacked team, but I would not give you an A only because of the last pick, but I would imagine some other people might give you an A. And I'm nitpicking.
Right. And I'm glad that's what I need. It's not one of my best teams. I don't like the Pits. I don't like that. I deduct myself from that. I actually like the Tajay Spears one. The way it's formatted in my league, it's a bunch of flex spots. So I could have went with another wide receiver just to back up Zay Flowers and Godwin and Shaheed because they not top level guys per se. So I get what you're saying. I'm actually giving my team a B+. I think for me to get Austin Eckler and Gus Edwards in the 8th and 9th is really good value. And I actually think Tajay Spears in the 11th is really good value. So yeah, I say this is a B+ team. Let's see what the audience says.
I'll be targeting Edwards heavily in all my leagues this year.
Right.
Value pick.
He might not be the starter the whole season, but while he's healthy, he's gonna get plenty of opportunities.
And they're not gonna just give him like he'll be the bell cow, but they'll rotate guys in to keep him fresh.
Right, I agree with that.
but he should get all the goal line for sure.
Right. Kind of like a good David Montgomery type.
Yep. Exactly. Walmart David Montgomery this year. Boom.
Right. D Lion says no Vikings. B plus a little thin at wide receiver. Right.
Yep, I agree.
Ethan says, how do you feel about Josh Palmer on the Chargers? Just another guy. I'm not targeting him. I'd rather have Quentin Johnson for the upside over Josh Palmer, who's probably going to outscore Quentin Johnson. But I think Quentin Johnson have a couple bigger games than Josh Palmer. So I'm trying to get the boom. I'm not trying to be consistent at that point of the draft.
I think Harbaugh isn't dumb, and they'll scheme QJ in plays where he can utilize his skill set. So
Right.
instead of sending him deep like they would
Right.
Mike Williams before, intermediate stuff, across the field stuff. So
Reverses. Right.
Yak.
Yep. His yak is crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
The dude has talent. I believe in QJ still, and I think better coaching will help him mentally and put him in a
Better position to win. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
D-Line says Lamar RB1 great with Kyron at 2, RB heavy. Burrow you stole. Jay Cook gonna eat. Pitts gonna finally have a good year. Spears I'm high on. I give B plus just not a Godwin and Eckler guy this year. Right. And I understand that. Those are kind of like just target guys for PPR. They not no big boom guys. They just target guys. Will says B minus. That's fair. That's fair. Another wide receiver instead of Gus would have made it an A minus, right? I don't know, man. I like Gus, especially with the way the format, because I can start all these guys. So, but I get what you're saying. My wide receivers is the weakest on my team.
I like Gus.
B plus. Quarterbacks are good and no bad picks. I always say nothing spectacular though. It's solid, right? Yeah. After I didn't have no spectacular. The most sexiest pick might be Zay Flowers and Lamar. That might be the most sexiest picks that I did. Tajay Spears with the last pick, I think is a little nice. D-Line says Curry Bot still my favorite team. Right. I would say Curry Bot definitely won the draft. Definitely. And Spears has competition. He does. But at the last pick, I think he could beat out Tony Pollard. That's why I took him at the last pick. All right, guys. Anything you want to shoot out, bro? Anything you want to shoot out, Harambe?
No, man. Like, I got nothing to plug. I was just happy to be here, and I've been meaning to come up and talk, but I figured since I wasn't drafting today, I would jump on the screen.
Appreciate it, man. Hopefully I can have you more often when you get some free time.
Yeah, man. I might start up some content, man. It's you guys are inspiring, and it's a good community, and I need to stop being lazy and do something, you know?
Right, man. I always tell people just don't worry about all the being perfect. Some things you just got to go and just start, man, and learn on the fly, man. And that's what I did, man. And that's why I appreciate, my audience. Actually, one thing about YouTube, everybody grows with you, right? So that's what I like about YouTube. I didn't have to come in as no big time professional, and I'm still learning to this day. I do think my content and me picking my players is professional, but the YouTube thing, the algorithm and all it's a learning thing.
Yeah, man, your content is top tier. You got some of the guys who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and to me, they just kind of tell you what you want to hear, but you justify why you like the guys you like and whatnot. Pause.
Right.
But it's a good community, TD. So I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'll come up and I'll grill these teams with you or rate them or whatever. It's fun, man.
Right. I appreciate you, man. Yep.
Yeah.
So guys, go ahead. What was you about to say, Harambe?
Oh no, that was it.
Oh, okay. So guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all be safe. I'm gonna try to do another live tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna do a mock draft because I do want to do some sleepers. I got 10 sleepers that y'all probably know because I talk about it. We talk about it here on our mock drafts, but I want to talk about some 10 sleepers, a couple quarterbacks, some wide receivers, and a couple running backs. And I might do that, but who knows? I might do that while I'm at work and just come home and keep doing these mock drafts because I think we all gonna win a lot of championships by mocking. I think we're gonna be when we on the clock, we just gonna be picking really, really good. We're not gonna be like, oh my God, what should I pick? I'm 30 seconds on the clock. I don't think we're gonna run into that because we are picking from all different spots. I never pick my favorite spot, which is the 112. I try to go to the toughest spots. I think that helps you prepare for the draft. So guys, y'all be safe. See y'all later. Peace.
Later, y'all.
Yep. See you later, bro.
They like country need another one. They like country need another one. Quasi going crazy. Okay, turn me up. They don't want no smoke. I'm in my bag. Bitch, I'm rolling up. They say that shit hot. Hot, bitch, I'm burning up. Yeah, let's talk some business. Ain't no money. I ain't showing up. Don't know how to act. A bunch of country niggas pulling up. Okay, turn me up. Now they say they want that country shit. Okay, now turn me up. Now they see I be that energy. I make them turn me up. Yeah, I know they trying to finish me, but it just turn me up. Fresh to death on camouflage. Gotta